This is the moment we've been waiting for. First time since February 1st when the worst trade in human history happened. Your Dallas Mavericks are going to be facing the Los Angeles Lakers in LA. That'll be tonight at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. There's obviously a few really big storylines surrounding this matchup, and it'll continue to be that way. I don't off the top of my head, I don't know when we're going to play the Lakers next. But I just feel like these storylines that we're going to talk through today are going to continue to be relitigated over and over and over, and that's totally fine because we love our Mavericks. And I'm right there with you, fam. I am your host, Ethan, the advisor Clayton. This is Your Mavs, a Dallas Mavericks podcast where all are welcome. Y'all better behave. Okay, as I mentioned in the intro, this is the first time that we have played the Lakers in LA since February 1st. And it's not the first time we've played the Lakers since the trade happened. In fact, we had a match later in the month of February earlier this year after the trade. But that was in Dallas on our home court. And if you'll remember, there were tears, right? There was a tribute video, and there was Luka's first triple-double as a Laker, okay? So at least we got that out of the way. He won't be doing that. He won't be dropping his first triple-double as a Laker tonight. Good. We already box checked there. But the biggest storyline, the biggest question mark, it's not really even a question anymore. It was something that, like, right after the news was dropped, everybody was like, all right, who won the trade? That was a dumb question then, right? Obviously, we had a 25-year-old generational superstar, not super injury prone, even though that was kind of what was thrown out there. I mean, yeah, he had a few injuries, but who doesn't? But it was a dumb question then, right? It made zero sense then. It is an even dumber question now, but it's still going to be brought up, right? At least, to our benefit, it's going to be the Amazon Prime crew that's calling the game tonight, and that will include Dirk Nowitzki. I think he's going to be fair with his analysis and with his talking points. And at this point, I don't even think it's fair to talk about whether or not the Mavericks won or lost the trade. That's ancient history. We lost. It's a big L. But just to kind of go a little bit deeper on why today it's the worst trade ever and it still doesn't make sense. Looking back, AD has now only played 33% of the games that he could possibly play since he joined the Mavericks. Okay, not good. He came back middle of March last season, played for 3 quarters against the Houston Rockets, and then re-injured his adductor, or I guess his abdomen, that kept him out the rest of the season. And then into the offseason, it was, yo, dude, you've got a detached retina. We need to surgically repair that. Don't you dare move the entire summer. We need you to be stationary, right? Then he comes into the league, or comes into the season not necessarily in the best basketball shape. Kind of ironic, right? Because Luka came in healthy and fit. AD did not. I'm not going to belabor this too much longer, I promise, and we'll move on. And then on top of all of the injury stuff that we've dealt with AD, right, whenever he was healthy, we weren't winning games. We didn't look good. And on the total inverse of that, the Lakers are winning games, and Luka looks unbelievable, right? That's not going to serve as a shock to anyone here. He's played MVP caliber ball for pretty much the last 5-6 seasons, right? So he's continuing to take that up a notch in LA this season and absolutely playing like an MVP. And side note, I think it's really sad, but I don't like saying it out loud, but it's starting to feel like there's not much of a chance that Luka's going to win MVP, whether it be this season or ever, because his prime is at the same time as SGA's prime, at the same time as Jokic's prime. Okay, Giannis is still playing top-notch basketball and is really carrying that team on his shoulders. So there's a lot of really good candidates that it feels like Luka is going to have a really hard time to actually win the MVP. But I'm rooting for him. I'm still going to say in front of God and everybody, he's my favorite basketball player. Okay, let's move on. Second storyline, we're moving past the who won the trade. Second important storyline, burning question, will AD even play? Okay, as of now, he is still questionable for tonight's game. And it was reported yesterday that, or I guess not yesterday, but Wednesday, that J. Kidd was like, well, we have a doubleheader against LA, Lakers Friday night, Clippers Saturday night. Depending on how he does in Wednesday's practice, we'll see which one of those games he plays. Okay. And then AD was asked, like, hey, really dumb question, by the way, which one of these games do you want to play? He's like, is that even a real question? Obviously, I want to come back and play against the Lakers. So he wants to. There's going to be all the drama surrounding it anyway. I think we do see him come back tonight. I think we do see him play a really solid basketball game. Win or lose, I think it'll be a moral victory to have AD healthy and back on the court doing AD things. So who won the trade? The Lakers won the trade. Will AD play? Yes, I think he'll play. Next question. Actually, this is not a question. It's just more of a storyline. It's more of me just talking about things that are on my mind going into this game tonight. Next big storyline is going to be Luka versus Coop, the main event, the Rook, right? An all-time talent on this side, right? A fan favorite. He meant so much to the city of Dallas, so much to the franchise of the Mavericks. And he was traded away unexpectedly. And then as I'm not even going to call this part of a vision or a consolation prize, we totally lucked into the NBA lottery. We won the sweepstakes. We got to draft Cooper Flagg first overall. So something that is just painfully obvious, but I'm going to say it anyway, right? Especially tonight, you're going to see it on the court, just how different of players those two guys are, right? Luka is very heliocentric. He is very flashy. He is not afraid of the moment. He will take any and every shot. He is good at drawing fouls. He is good at just going on absolute tears. Whereas Cooper Flagg, he kind of centers his game around solid defensive pressure, contested shots, getting out and running in transition, athletic, strong finishes at the hoop. He's got a nice post game. He's got a nice little floater, hook shot, whatever you want to call it. But those player profiles could not be more unalike or dissimilar, okay? But it doesn't matter. They're still going to constantly be compared for the rest of time because, again, Luka's traded. Mavericks luck into the lottery. They bring in their guy, and that was supposed to kind of help fans move on past the Luka era. I don't know that it'll ever truly work out that way, and I'm not here to say that Cooper is not going to be a generational superstar because I think he very well could be. But no matter how you slice it, those two are always going to be compared to each other. So I am excited to see what it looks like, them two on the court against each other tonight. And I'm just trying to think about, on the one hand, how many points is Luka going to drop on us? Okay. In his first game against the Mavericks after the trade, he did have a triple-double, but it was only a 19-point outing. This season, Luka has been on an absolute tear. Again, he's playing MVP caliber ball. I did not look up all the stats, but I think he's averaging pretty close to 40 points a game. So it wouldn't even be all that crazy for him to pop off and drop 50 on us, maybe even 60. That would just be a really good game from him. Not a total shocker. Wow, Luka just went out of his mind. No, like he's been doing that all season, and now he's just got a little bit extra attached to it because it's a personal deal. But throughout that scoring effort that we're going to see from Luka, is he going to be hunting Cooper Flagg? Is there going to be any sort of beef between those two? And if there is, if Luka is hunting after Coop, the Rook, right, that kind of took over his rightful seat as the franchise cornerstone, is Coop going to withstand the challenge? I've never seen him back down from a challenge so far. And he's guarded pretty much the best player on every team so far this season. And he has had, on the inverse, the best defender of each team guarding him in every game. So he's gotten plenty of challenging looks. He's gotten plenty of tough assignments so far this season. So I'm not worried about him backing down from a challenge tonight, right? I'm really not worried about that. What I really have started to picture in my mind, would love to see on the court, is, let's say Luka is hunting Coop, which, by the way, there are better defenders out there to hunt after if it's not like a personal thing between the two. But I can see Coop switching out on an isolation, really getting in Luka's face, heavily contesting a shot, or maybe even blocking his stuff. I want to see one or two of those plays where he's locking Luka up after, when Luka's trying to do the crossover dribble step back situation. I think Cooper Flagg can handle that pretty well. And I want to see a few of those one-on-one matchups tonight. Let's see what's next. Oh yeah. And just kind of side note, since since the comparison will always be there between Luka and Cooper Flagg, I really like the showcase that Cooper is going to have tonight to really lock down the Lakers' big three, Luka, Austin Reeves, and LeBron James. And also, watching the Lakers tonight, I am going to be interested to see, have a little bit of imagination of like, hey, how could Austin Reeves fit on our roster? You've heard me cook up trade ideas for Austin Reeves before. I haven't watched a ton of the Lakers this season, so I don't really know how their big three is going to work out. I'm interested to see. That's just a little side note. But as far as predictions go for Cooper tonight, I think we will see a special game from him. And when I've thrown some bold predictions out for games, a lot of those predictions have aged like sour milk, and I don't care. I'm going to keep doing them. Tonight I expect a 25-point triple-double from Cooper Flagg, right? It's going to be a stat sheet filler. He's going to be aggressive early and often. I'd like to see him hit a couple of jump shots in rhythm to where he's really building up his confidence, because when he hits one or two of those, he's unstoppable. I swear. So maybe not his first 30-point outing as an NBA player, but it'll be pretty close, and I think he will get his first triple-double as an NBA player. Last storyline. Okay, we've talked about the trade pretty much start to finish on this episode. Why stop now? So far, it's all been about AD and Luka, and then it was Luka and Cooper Flagg. What about this other storyline behind the scenes, the battle of the Maxes? And what I mean by that is Maxi Kleber and Max Christie. Those are two of the other players that were involved in this trade, right? More of the role players. And it seems to me, especially of late, both of these players have really solidified their roles on their new team, right? For Maxi, that's perimeter defense, being switchable from the post to the perimeter. It's hitting down wide open threes in the corner, right? He has really found his niche there in LA. And from what I see, what I can tell, Lakers Twitter really, really loves Maxi Kleber, as they should, right? I miss that man. He was so fun to watch. One of my favorite Twitter follows, his name is Bibbs Corner. He always had a graphic for Maxi Kleber that every time he blocked somebody's shot, they got put on what was called the Berlin Wall, okay? Or not the Berlin Wall, the Würzburg Wall, because that's where Maxi Kleber is from, which, fun fact, the same hometown as Dirk Nowitzki. But I miss seeing that guy. I'll actually really look forward to watching him play tonight. And again, I think he's really found his stride as a role player in LA. But obviously, on the flip side, Max Christie has gone gangbusters so far this season. He is one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA. Things that he had, or things that he's showing us, I didn't know he had in his bag, like the crossover dribble, the drive to the hoop. Goodness gracious, he's really aggressive in that regard, and he's really taken a leap forward, and something that the Mavericks have desperately needed. And things that we already knew about him as a perimeter defender, he's shown us more and more of that each game. So those are some of the storylines. Again, who won the trade? Obviously, I think the Lakers won the trade. It was obvious on February 1st. It's even more obvious now. Will AD play? Yeah, I think he's going to play, and I think he's going to have a solid game. I don't know that he'll get the better of the Lakers here, because I still think that no matter how you slice it, the Mavs are going to lose tonight. Further storyline, Coop versus Luka, right? I think they're going to have some one-on-one matchups from time to time tonight. I'll be watching very, very closely, and I think that'll be actually really fun. I do think Luka is going to drop at least 50 on us, just being honest here. But Cooper will rise to the challenge and provide a solid outing. Like I said, a 25-point triple-double. Book it right now. And then, the role players that were also involved in that big blockbuster trade, Maxi Kleber and Max Christie. Those are guys that have solidified their roles on their new teams, and I think they're both going to have a tremendous opportunity to make a huge impact on whether or not their team wins tonight, right? Because, again, both are solid defenders. Both are good three-point shooters in the corner. They're both both of their teams are better when they are on the court. So I'm mentally prepared for the game tonight, just going through all these talking points, doing a little bit of research. What I don't know yet is if I am emotionally prepared for it. Either way, it's happening in a few hours, and let's freaking do this. Y'all party on. Be good.